part 2 of why Ukrainian women wreck relationships with men. And I think it's more with Western guys, because Ukrainian men would understand this a little bit more. We already did one of these videos and it got a lot of views, didn't it? Well, for us it got a lot of views, and we thought, well, let's do another one.
It's useful. It's useful to understand how to...
Yeah. Okay. Apologies for Luba's voice.
Thank you.
We didn't do a video this week because she lost her voice, and it's been incredible. She gifted me my love language, which is peace and quiet. So it's been incredible. But anyway, back to life.
Thank you.
So here are the 4 reasons that we want to add to this list. Okay, what's reason number 1, Luba?
So Ukrainian ladies are, I still have funny voice, but Ukrainian ladies, they are conservative, and we spoke about that. So basically, like now we decided with Striker to call it like thinking inside the box. They are accepting only something that they understand. And if they don't understand, they try to battle it instead of taking it, absorb it, accept, basically.
So it's basically, I guess it comes down to a cultural difference in dating. Some people think a cultural difference in dating is more like different food, maybe different language, dress differently, whatever. But really it comes down to this sort of stuff, because the difference, if she was dating a Ukrainian man, he would kind of get all the stuff that we're staying here, and it's not an issue. So if the man is doing something that's outside of her dating norm, she'll think this guy is a bit weird. Why is he doing that? Why didn't he do that? Because he doesn't know. So for us as men, if something like that happens, but it's the other way around, we think, oh, well, it's like a cultural difference. We've got to be accepting of that and try to understand it. Women are not so much that way, right? And part of Lua's job is to try and make her understand these things. But if you're just doing this on your own, you may come into those things where you just don't know what's going on, and she's just kind of like shut down a little bit and doesn't want to accept it, which we'll talk about in one of the other.
The problem, it's not just in dating, it's in everything. But if we talk about dating, then, for example, like some guys commenting and say, why Ukrainian ladies making such a big deal of flowers? The thing is that, of course, like Ukrainian lady try to get everything that she like about dating a Ukrainian man. There's a lot of bad stuff, like a lot why Ukrainian lady decided to come to the matchmaker, but there are certain things that she like, for example, flowers. And so for her, it's important. On the Western culture, not so much, because guys not really giving flowers, it doesn't make so much sense. It's just one example I give you to easily understand it. And so for her, it's like, why he's not giving flowers? Then he doesn't care, he doesn't love me, he's not romantic, he's not a gentleman, and all that stuff that is not true. It's just because in your culture, you don't give flowers as much as you do in Ukraine.
Yes.
Or, for example, another thing is, for example, when you start living together, another big example, it's like mortgage, right? In Ukraine, we don't have it. So if you have apartment, you 90%, sometimes there's a mortgage, but because the interest rate is so high, people don't do it. Usually, if you have apartment, you own it. You own it, why? Because you had apartment from your grandmother, you sold it, and etc. When the lady moved to United States and the guy started telling her that he's using credit card, he's using like this, and the home is in mortgage, for her, it's shocked. For her, it's like you broke, you don't have money, you're bum, and you both gonna die in jail. I exaggerated a little bit, but this is how she is scared. And it's not like she just doesn't have experience in that. And why I'm saying that I want to give help, I want to give advice how to help in that. Sometimes guys get frustrated, and when they try to explain something, the lady doesn't understand, it causes a big fight or disagreement.
She wrecks the relationship.
She wrecks the relationship. That is really, really bad. So what you need to do is that you need to implement that. Like we usually say with Striker, the lady, even if she speaks English, you need to use a very basic language at the beginning until you understand that she understands you. Because you can say something and she will knock your head, but she will not understand anything. The same is with implementing new stuff. Relationship, it's like raising a child. So when you have a child, you start feeding him, you start giving him like a little bit of a cabbage when you implement food, right? You don't give him like a steak when he's 6 months old. No, you start giving like little by little different drops of different food. The same with the Ukrainian lady. When she moved to your country, you need to implement that. You need to be smarter than just say, it is like that and that's it. Because it's not gonna work. Like it will really be very big fights and you will be frustrated, she will be frustrated. It's not nobody gonna win or benefit from that. So implement step by step, explain everything to her, why there is a mortgage or why there's this, or tell her, you know, and about flowers, about like dating stuff, you have us to explain you all of that. So
yeah, you know, the reason that, you know, some of you guys who follow these channels, these videos and stuff like that, and maybe you've done a send, is because you understand some of the cultural differences. Now, there's not a lot of resources for a woman who's Ukrainian who wants to date Western men. There's not channels out there that are making videos and courses and all that sort of stuff. So Luba is like their only link to, like, you know, sort of say to them, hey, you got to understand a few things here. You know, he's understanding you. You need to understand him. Don't go wrecking the relationship.
the problem with women is that, like, I know, guys, you like what Striker said, and I have to admit it, it's true, right? Like Striker said, ladies are irrational. I'm a woman, I don't like to hear that, but I understand.
That's because you're irrational.
I think that I'm the most rational. But anyway, I think that the problem is that, like when we coach the guys, like we understand that there's this part like of relationship, like some people need help with. With ladies, when I start, it's like I don't even know where to start, because like it's just all over the place, and I every time I make notes, all my phone, my red book with me as always. I make notes because like I'm implementing this. I'm making some videos now, like we start preparing something for the ladies as well. But there's like it's you know, like when you buy a new field and it's like nobody ever, you know, planted anything, so I need to really dig deep and plant a lot of healthy seeds there. So it will take a while, but for us, we understand that, and I think that it's easier to explain it to the rational male who will deal with that, who will solve the problem as soon as you're aware. Number 2.
Okay, number 2.
Guys, sorry to interrupt. I just want to invite you all to our Telegram closed community. The link in the description below. Why should you subscribe? Is because we're going to announce there soon invite-only events that we're going to hold there. You can message me or Striker or both of us directly and ask questions. It's the fastest way to reach out to us. You can get support from other members of the group who are our clients, potential clients who are already done it, and successful clients. And also you can get to know our recent updates and news from the hard rocket and a little bit of a backstage videos. So I will be waiting for you there.
I want you to say that because people blaming me for that, but I want you to say that.
Okay. So they're more focused on the appearance than, say, people in the West. For sure, they're more focused on their appearance. I'm going to give you my theory about that in a second. And even for the guy that she is with. So sometimes if she says to the man, stop wearing those pants, or stop wearing those dirty shoes, or whatever it is, the man might take offense to that and think, well, she's trying to change me. I'm
personal offense.
What?
He will try to take personal offense.
He might take, well, he might take it as personally offensive that he's not good enough, or there are just shoes, who cares, and she should like his shoes for who they are, for what they are. And so that and she doesn't really understand that, because in her mind she's thinking, what is she thinking?
She's thinking that she like just making the whole
package. So she wants to be proud of the man that she walks beside. This is a little bit different from what I understand about the West, having lived in the West and having relationships in the West. Trying to appear more, fancier than you really are is not really that predominant, right? Maybe in like the Beverly Hills, Hollywood, whatever, they do that there. But for the most of the world, it's not that important. My theory on this is, it's like Instagram, okay? So on Instagram, people always post
best
photos that's better than what their real life is, right? That's what Instagram is. Well, I believe that Ukrainian women have been doing this well before Instagram, and because there was no Instagram, they do it in real life. That's my theory on it. And because the women are highly competitive with each other in Ukraine, and I guess it's because there's competition to get a good man, etc., etc. I've spoken about stuff like that before. So they want to look good themselves to attract that man. And then they want to have that man looking good so that other women are feeling like, I'm jealous of that woman. And she is really who she appears to be, with all the dingle dangles and the bags and all that, so whatever. So I think that's what it is. But anyway, go back to this. It's that men can get upset with that because we don't really understand that. We're like, who cares about that flashy stuff? I don't want to look like this or look like that. But she's not necessarily trying to make you look, she doesn't want you to wear a Versace bag, but she might want you to wear clean shoes. And a lot of men don't care about shoes, do they? What are you laughing at?
Yeah. No, I just analyze my 14, 15 years of work, and I just understand that...
So you're laughing at me. I think I do okay with my shoes.
You do perfect. Why you do perfect?
Apart from my slippers.
Sleepers are fine. I give it to you. But they're from Western Ukraine. But, more and more I work, especially nowadays, I see the cultural differences. Interesting enough, more cultural differences I notice now than I noticed before when I was living in Ukraine. Because it is kind of like in Spain here, it's offensive to say like, oh, you need to change your shirt or something, because people here do not care. I agree with Striker that in Ukraine, like this is shallow, like this is a little bit bad. And I now realize that in Ukraine, like I have a theory of a fur coat. Everybody has a mink fur coat. And I was a big fan of it as well. So I have to admit it. I have a couple. Anyway. But people in Ukraine, sometimes the lady, she will not have money for food, but she will have a mink coat. And that is like every single lady has a mink coat. Like now I live in Spain, why do I need them? And it's so stupid. Now I have different values. Like now I re-evaluate.
Like food. Food is more of a priority now.
Yes. Like what I got for Striker from United States? Food. So anyway, yes, they like to, like Striker's right, like they kind of like Instagrammy life, but in real life. And I understand that here people taking everything very personally. When Ukrainians are very direct, it's interesting what I will say, like that they are very direct when we will say that they don't understand indirect questions. So they are very direct. And so when she asked that she wanted to change, and we have thousands of these examples. We have one time the guy put it like white pants, linen pants, like he looked very good, but he put black shoes with that in summer. And I remember that the lady commented and brown belt. Like honestly, for Ukraine, it looks like funny. It looks out of, even though he said, Luba, but it's a linen pants, like it's a leather belt. Everything apart looks fine. But together, it looks like a little bit like, like if you come to the masquerade, and they say to dress like something funny. That is like how in Ukraine you would look like. And guys think, but everything is clean. And the lady wants you to look good. And I would not take it personally. I would take it just like she knows better. I know better one stuff, like you should think, and she know better this stuff. And you should just trust her and do not take it personally. Honestly, it's not about you. It's like she would do it.
It's about her.
It's about her. And if it will make her feel better and happier and more proud of you, I don't know, do it. Like, because she's not going to hurt you. She's not going to make you look worse. And like all the guys, like who are married now to Ukrainian, like to our ladies, or in a relationship who change their style, everybody mentioned it, noticing that. Because when you're wearing these clothes that you're wearing in US, like you are just okay, right? Like you are the same. But when you dress something different, people pay attention and they do like it and they do comment that. So none of our guys said like, Luba, I just bought this like leather jacket, or I bought this like, and like I become like, I don't have friends, or like everybody stopped talking to me. No, like they are happy with that, especially when they're with a woman and people paying attention that the couple as a whole look good. So do not take it personally, and just as soon as like she will adjust to you, you will adjust to her. But the most important, not take offense on that, because we know that a lot of guys take it, if she tells that you have a bad breath, for example, like that is personal. Yeah. But if she's like fixing your appearance, is not.
Yeah. Or don't do that and let her wreck the relationship. Okay, the next one is the communication. They have a tendency, if things are a little bit too stressful or they don't want to face a situation, they'll just shut down. And if you're one of those guys who likes to like talk about something or get it out in the open, that may be very frustrating, and that can also wreck the relationship. Would you say?
Yes, and this happening a lot.
Yeah.
And even though like sometimes like the guys I know on the call, they say, how do you solve the conflict? And she say, I always speak about that. Bullshit. Sorry. But it's like, why is that? Maybe in Russian she would discuss with you that, maybe in Russian she will go all the way to the history of the world and will explain you why she offended you or why she is mad. But in English, it's pretty difficult. And especially when she is concerned about her language. And the lady is concerned about her language most of the time. At the beginning of relationship, Like you're trying to understand each other, you try to get used to each other. When she's already in US, even if your English was like considered as good, even I have problems, you know, and I also losing my confidence sometimes when I can't explain. I mean, not so much these days, but at the beginning of, you know, when I just like start speaking English, it was very confusing. And you become so self-unconfident about that like you become stressed. And if there's any issue about the language, or if there's any issue that she cannot express herself, she shut down. It's better just like she go upstairs, she just leave. And the guy said like sometimes they worry that it's the end of the relationship. It's not. You just need to give her some time. You need to get her some flowers, put them on the table, don't say anything, and just like don't wait that she will apologize.
They don't need to do that at
I mean,
all.
they can. They can do it.
Well, it depends on the situation.
It depends on the situation, of course, but it's like sometimes happening that the guys expect too much, that the lady will apologize. I mean, of course, if she offended you or she like did something wrong, of course, but most of the time it's about communication.
Yeah.
And it's difficult for her to express herself, and it's difficult for her to explain what happened or why she's mad, because most of the time the core of the conflict is not what happened at this point, right?
Yeah, the video is not really about like how to solve an issue. It's just we're telling you that can happen.
It can happen. And
Okay.
so you need to just be patient about that. If you understand that, you know, it's not the end of the world and she didn't do anything like super bad. Because of course, if it is a conflict when she done something that is not acceptable for you, then it's
Yeah, we're telling you these things so you can understand it and then navigate it. There are many different ways to navigate it. But if you're the one of the guys in the comments who's just left a comment that says, oh, it sounds too difficult, Ukrainian women are too hard to date, yes, then they are too hard for you to date. But this is advice for you to make it a little bit easier. Okay, so number 4. They don't comprehend the indirect questions. Tell them.
Yeah, we'll quickly explain that, because like this usually happened during the calls, and you know, I only can control what happened while I'm on a call, and I cannot control how many indirect or direct questions was asked while I'm not there. But the thing what's happening is that the guys asking questions sometimes around out and about, right? So for example, we did the video that ladies are clueless about, that the guy asked how you see yourself in 5 years, and she responded only about herself, because the lady, as we said, you know, they're clueless, and we coach the guys, and the lady doesn't understand that if you ask her this question, you actually ask from a perspective of a family life, not your career, not your... And so there's a frustration. The lady say, I want to build a career, I want to do this, and the guy is sitting there, okay, Luba, she's not interested, she doesn't want to have family or anything.
That was in part 1.
It was in part 1. And in part 2, I want to say, because it happened just recently, the guy was asking question like about lady's job, and she's coming to United States, and she will be there on a cruise ship. And he started asking her question like, do you have any time off during your work? She said, oh, I have only like a couple of hours a day. And do you have any days off? She said, not really, I'm not taking it because, you know, I get paid like when I'm working. So I understood that this guy was thinking of coming to see her if she has time. But she didn't know that. She didn't get it. She didn't understand that, you know, he's asking this question because he wanted to figure it out her schedule. So she was answering him questions according to the, she was giving him answers according to the questions. She was saying like, I have few hours, I'm not taking days off. But if she would understand, if he would say like, I want to come, would you be available? She would say, oh, I can change shifts, you know, I can do this, I can do that. So she didn't understand. And at the end of the call, the guy said, you know, Luba, probably she's not that interested. She doesn't have time. She doesn't make an effort. She just literally did not understand him. So, and I gave him advice, and I give everyone advice, that if you want to find out something, if you want to ask a question, especially in English, please do not, no matter how good is your English, trust me, ask direct question. If I would come, would you have time? Or like, especially when you plan your trip. It's happening not just with him, it's even with the guys who are traveling to Europe, you know, the lady, especially in Germany, they have this like German classes and this and this. So you need to ask your direct question, because if she understands that you're asking because you're coming, she will, it's a different answer from the everyday life when she is going to these classes.
Yeah. I also think there's some cultural thing in there as well when it comes to being very direct. But we've got another video coming out, which is some shocking truths about Ukrainian women that will scare you or something. So subscribe, and you'll see that one coming out soon. And that's the end of that, because we've only got about 6% left on the battery.